Hello, and welcome to the MachoBurger Show. This is another special broadcast. I'm Dylan now, and I'm going to be doing my predictions on the first round of the NCAA Men's Basketball March Madness Tournament. Um, this is actually, I'm going to go ahead and do the Midwest and South right now. Today is Wednesday. I'm going to go ahead and pre-record so that way I can get it out faster. So there's two more of the first round or first four games happening, which will be tonight. Will be Michigan versus Tulsa and Holy Cross versus Southern. I'm not too concerned about those two games, but I'm going to go ahead and do the South and the Midwest. All right, and with that, let's get started. All right, so the first game in the South, it's going to be Kansas versus our number one seed versus our number one seed Kansas versus 16 seed Austin P or PA. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's just they're a 16 seed. Doing research, there's never been a 16 seed to beat a first seed. So I'm not going to say Austin P could be the first one to do it. I'm not going to say they're not going to do it at all. But given with that knowledge, I'm going to pick Kansas to win this game. Mainly because Kansas is pretty tough. They've been tough for the past couple years in this tournament anyways. And in the next game we have 8 seed Colorado going up against 9 seed Connecticut or UConn. I'm going to pick UConn in this one. Honestly, I just think they're the better team going into this. I don't see why they're a 9 seed. Then again, 9 seed, 8 seed, I guess they're basically the same right there. But I do pick UConn to win this one and go on to round 2. And the next one we have Maryland versus South Dakota State. Now, I don't know much about South Dakota, their basketball team. I don't know much about the state in general. I do know that nothing ever bad happens there, so I guess that's good. But I'm going to go ahead and predict Maryland to win this one. And California versus Hawaii. We have a fourth seed with Hawaii and a 13th seed. 4th seed California and 13th seed Hawaii. Apologize. I want to give Hawaii a chance here because their record looks better, 27-5 versus 23-10. It could be an upset, but I don't really think it will be. So I'm going to go ahead and say California will take this one. And then the next one we have a 6 seed Arizona versus an 11 seed Wichita State, which if you watch the first round predictions, I got Wichita State right. Just saying. I'm going to say this one's going to be an upset. I'm going to say Wichita is going to blow everyone's mind and go on to round 2. Now, I'm not saying Arizona will lose. Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. But Arizona, they're a pretty good team. And I'm not going to say an upset's not going to happen. I mean, it is possible, but I am saying Wichita State will beat Arizona. And in the next game, we have a 3 seed Miami versus a 14 seed Buffalo. In this one, see, the way it looks like it'd be a very good game. But I'm going to go ahead and say Miami. I'm saying Miami for this one. And the next game, we have a 7 seed Iowa versus a 10 seed Temple. Now, I've never really seen much of Temple. I didn't see much of them. I've seen a lot of Iowa the past couple of years. Iowa's a tough team. They usually don't last very long in these tournaments. I've noticed. But they do tend to make it to round 2 usually when they are in the tournament. So I'm going to say Iowa goes on to round 2. And then the last game on the South, we have a 2 seed versus Villanova versus 15 seed UNC Asheville. Now I am from North Carolina, but I don't really think. I think this is the first time they've been in the tournament. Maybe first, second. No, I don't think they've ever been in the tournament that much. But Villanova, man, they are a tough team. And I really don't think UNC Asheville has the power to actually beat Villanova. So I'm going to say Villanova will go on to round two. All right. And that is the conclusion of the South. All right. We just concluded with the South side of the bracket. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the Midwest. I know it's a huge gap. I know you're saying where's East and West. Those brackets have not been completed yet. This is once again pre-recorded, so I'm going to go with Midwest. In this one, Midwest, the first game is a first seed Virginia versus Hampton. Now, I've been seeing a lot of Virginia games. They're a pretty tough team, honestly. I know the last game they played was against UNC and was for the ACC championship, I believe. They did lose, but they didn't lose by much. I think it was like 57 to 60 something. I didn't watch much of the game, but I'm gonna say Virginia goes over Hampton and goes on to round two. And the next game we have an 8 seed Texas Tech and a 9 seed Butler. Part of me wants to say Butler because I know they've been in the tournament quite a bit, and Texas Tech, I haven't really seen much of them. But it's tough. But I'm gonna say Butler in this one. Mainly because they have more experience, I believe. I think in my mind they have more experience in the March Madness, so I'm gonna say Butler. And next we have a 5 seed Purdue versus a 12 seed Little Rock. I'm honestly going to say Purdue. Even though Little Rock, looking at it, they do have the better record. I'm going to say Purdue just because I know they've had the more experience in the tournament as well. I'm not saying it's impossible for a 12 seed to beat a 5 seed. That's not impossible at all. Because seed doesn't really matter, But I want to say Purdue over Little Rock just on an experience level. And the next game we have a 4 seed Iowa State versus a 13 seed Iona. I don't know if I said their name right, but I don't really know much of the school or the team at all. So I am going to say Iowa State goes over to the next round. And the next seed we have a 6 seed Seton Hall versus 11 seed Gonzaga. And again with an upset, I know Gonzaga has more of the experience in the tournaments because past couple years, I think Gonzaga's been in the past couple years. I'm going to say Gonzaga mainly because, once again, mainly due on an experience level. I don't think I've ever seen Seton Hall in the tournament in the past few years. So Gonzaga, I feel like they'll go on to round two. And then the next game we have a 3 seed Utah versus a 14 seed Fresno State. Now looking at it, they both kind of have the same record. Sorry, couldn't think of the word there. They do have the kind of the same record, 26-8, 25-9. It's only a 1 game difference between the two teams. But, I'm going to choose Utah to go on to round 2 in this one. And then the next game we have a 7 seed Dayton and a 10 seed Syracuse. Now this game, I don't care what you say, this game is going to be legit, man. This is going to be a fucking awesome game. This game is going to be great. And I think, honestly, it's going to come down to the wire. I feel like this game may reach overtime. But I'm also going to say Dayton goes on to round 2. Now, I do like Syracuse as a team. I do like them. I think they have potential. They've been in the tournament before, so is Dayton. I'm just saying this purely on what I think is going to happen. I think Dayton will move on, and I like both teams in the situation, and it kind of sucks. But, this game is going to be great. It's going to be probably one of the best in round one. And I am going to say that Dayton goes to round two. And in the last game on the Midwest, we have Michigan State, 2 seed, versus a 15 seed Middle Tennessee. I'm honestly going to have to say Michigan State, and it's mainly because I don't think I've ever seen Middle Tennessee at all. I don't think they've been in the tournament at all, or they could have. I just haven't really been paying attention. But I'm also going to say Michigan State goes on to round two. And that concludes the Midwest. Alright guys, we're going to take a look at the west side of the tournament of the bracket. Now the first game is a 1 seed Oregon versus a 16 seed Holy Cross. I did get that prediction wrong. If you guys were keeping score, I was 2 for 2 during that. Now, Holy Cross, they actually did impress me in the game. I'm not gonna lie. Today, they actually did impress me during their game against Southern, but they didn't impress me enough to think that they're gonna beat Oregon. So with that, my prediction for that game, Oregon moves on. And the next game we have St. Joseph's versus Cincinnati. I'm a huge Cincinnati fan. As you can tell by the hat, I am a Cincinnati Bengals fan. Or if you've just seen any of the things you see in the background, I'm a huge supporter of the Cincinnati Bengals. So I don't care. I'm picking Cincinnati to go on to the next round as an upset because they are a 9 seed going up against an 8-seeded St. Joseph's. I'm picking Cincinnati because I'm a huge Cincinnati fan. And the next game we have a 5 seed Baylor versus a 12 seed Yale. Now this is the first time Yale has been in the tournament since I think 53 years. I think that's how long the gap was. They finally closed it, and they're back in the tournament again. They're a 12th seed. I want to pick them, a huge part of me wants to pick them as a huge underdog thing, but I just don't think they're going to beat Baylor, honestly. So with that, I'm gonna pick Baylor to win that one and go on to round two. The next game we have a 4 seed Duke University versus a 13 seed UNC Wilmington. Now I live in North Carolina, and so if you've ever stepped foot in North Carolina, you know it's divided by 3 teams. You're either a Duke fan, you're either a UNC Tar Heels fan, or you're an NC State Wolfpack fan. I fall into the Duke fan category. I don't really know much about UNC Wilmington. I'm not really a fan of their stuff, but they are a pretty decent team. I give them that. They are in March Madness this year, so they must have a good season. But I'm picking my team. I'm going to pick Duke to go on to round 2 just because I'm a Duke fan. I feel like I have to pick them to go on to the next round, or why am I a fan of theirs, So Duke goes on to round 2. Next game we have a 6-seeded Texas versus a 11-seed Northern Iowa. Now, Texas is usually pretty good in sports, unless you're NFL, and then you realize the Texans and the Dallas Cowboys are immediate shit. They're terrible teams. But in college basketball and football, the Texas teams are pretty good. But I want to say Northern Iowa, but a huge part of me is saying that they'll probably screw up near the end, so I'm gonna go and pick Texas to go on to the next round. And the next game we have a 3-seeded Texas A&M and a 14-seed Green Bay. Now, same thing still applies. Texas A&M. I have seen some of their games, and they are freaking incredible. They're pretty damn good, honestly. They're pretty good. I feel like they'll probably run all over
Green Bay, but it'll probably still be a good game. It'll probably be back and forth. Some of these games you wouldn't think would be very good are tend out to be some of the best games of the entire tournament. So, with that being said, I'm going to say Texas A&M goes to round 2. And the next one we have a 7 seed Oregon State versus a 10 seed VCU. I honestly think VCU will pull off the upset and win. That's who I'm picking. I'm picking VCU. It's going to happen. I'm telling you. It's going to be an upset game. VCU goes on to round 2. And the last game for the West section, we have a number 2 seed Oklahoma versus a 15 seed CSU Bakersfield. I'm not going to lie to you, I've never heard of CSU Bakersfield. Really don't have anything to say on them, and I probably should have looked them up prior to this, but I didn't. But I do know Oklahoma, and I do know that their teams are pretty awesome. So with that, I'm going to say Oklahoma goes on to the next round, and that concludes the west side of the first round bracket. Alright, and now we're going to take a look at the final seed here, the final bracket. It's going to be for the east side of the tournament. And the first game we have here is a one seed UNC, North Carolina University, UNC, versus a Florida Gulf Coast. Now, Florida Gulf Coast, they did win their game against Fairleigh Dickinson to get in here. Now that was a pretty good game for if you're a Florida Gulf Coast fan, because from what I saw, Fairleigh Dickinson just got brutalized. They just got destroyed. But with that, I don't think they'll beat UNC. Once again, I'm not a huge UNC fan, but I just don't see them losing to Florida Gulf Coast. You know, it could happen. I'm not saying it's not impossible. It is possible that it could happen. I just don't think it's going to happen to UNC, especially with the incredible year they've had, or the incredible season they've had. I just don't think it's gonna happen. So with that, I'm going to say UNC goes on to round 2. In the next game, we have an 8 seed USC versus 9 seed Providence. I'm honestly picking as an upset. I know I've had many upsets during this. Upset victory, Providence goes on to round 2. Next, we have a 5 seed Indiana versus a 12 seed Chattanooga. Now, I'm a little biased because my dad. We actually have a family friend who lives near Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I've been to Chattanooga a few times. I'm a little biased in this game because I do like the area. It's around there, but that doesn't really say much about the team. As far as I know, this is the first time they've been in the tournament. As far as I know, I could totally be wrong about that, but as far as I know, this is the first time they competed. From what I'm seeing, they've had one hell of a season, 29 wins and 5 losses. This is a pretty tough one because I'm a little biased, but they're a 12 seed. I have too many upsets, but I'm gonna pick another upset. I'm going to say Chattanooga goes on to round 2, and that's gonna be one hell of an upset if that happens. Honestly. I'm pretty sure if Chattanooga does beat Indiana, a lot of people's brackets will be blown there. And if Chattanooga does manage to move on to round 2, I predicted it. I knew it was gonna happen, but we won't know until that game takes place. So, that being said, off to the next game, we have a 4th seeded Kentucky versus the 13th seed Stony Brook. I feel like I didn't have to introduce the next team because I feel like we all know Kentucky's going to round 2. I mean, they've been in the tournament, I think, a couple years in a row now. I think they won a couple years back. I mean, Kentucky's going to round 2, no doubt about it. All right, and we have next game, the 6th seed Notre Dame. I don't know. It's one of the two. Versus 11 seed Michigan. Now, I did say Tulsa would have won the Michigan versus Tulsa game. I was wrong. It was Michigan State, but it was a very close game. I gotta say, it was pretty decently close, especially near the end there. But I don't think Michigan's gonna pull it out. I think they're just gonna be here. I honestly think Notre Dame will win and go on to round 2, even though I can't even pronounce their name right. I feel like they're going to round 2. And the next game we have a 3-seeded West Virginia versus a 14 seed SF Austin. Looking at it, SF Austin had the better season. Looking at record wise, but I know West Virginia has one hell of a team though. So I'm gonna pick West Virginia to go on to round 2. Next game we have a 7-seed Wisconsin versus a 10th seed Pittsburgh. I'm picking. Man, their records are really close. This is gonna be a tough game. It's probably gonna be back and forth all game long. But with that, picking Wisconsin. I want to pick Wisconsin on this one. And in the last game we have on the East, it will be a 2nd seed Xavier versus a 15th seed Weber State. I've never heard of Weber State. I don't know much about them. So with that being said, they did have a pretty decent season from what I'm looking at right here. I know Xavier has been in here a few years now. I'm going to go ahead and pick Xavier. All right. And with that concludes the east side of the bracket. And with that game being the last one I predict, that also concludes my predictions for the first round. Now, I will be keeping score. So far with the first round, with the first 4, I went 2-2. Hopefully, I can do better this round. But stay tuned for the second round predictions, which, let me see the schedule here, which will be, looks like Saturday or Sunday. Go ahead and look forward for that being posted. I'll try to get that one uploaded as soon as possible. But with that being said, here we go, man. March Madness has officially begun. Stay tuned and stay macho.